Yeah, now for up, it's in my mind about kind of steering your direction towards what bot lane you want to go for. We've already hit on like the Senna lanes still being available. Xayah Rakan is something you sometimes see come out against Tavares to have the ult to play against the Chains of Corruption. And then it's about if they'd be willing to lean into anything a little bit more eccentric. With the Maokai coming out, it kind of sets up for the potential of the Senna on 3.
So Maokai there. And obviously not a flex either. That is going to be in the support role. We've got a Zinzao already locked in. Rakan alongside the Varus. It's going to be the choice for Hung. We know Hung. Pretty solid Rakan. Definitely can find those engagers. Varus very good at following up on that as well. I feel like maybe a jungler could be required, but no, LNG deciding to prioritize that Cassante for the top lane.
Yeah, still a lot of things that WeiWei has pulled out this split, so they do have the options there. I wonder, I was going to say, because, right, the Senna would be expected here, but Ultra Prime have actually been one of the teams who have been a little bit more, have shown us some flashes down in bot lane. Again, we're obviously thinking back to the Rammus, so wouldn't have surprised me if they lent into anything a little bit heavier. A lot of mid lane dance from Ultra Prime's first rotation. I wonder if you just keep doubling down. Things like the Talia, the Nico still open. You can kind of get your pick of the litter between those priority mids and just take away the other. It might force LNG to ban some out themselves, and then we'd kind of really be in the next tier 3 of mid lane picks.
Which would be exciting to watch, changing things up a little bit. I feel like Tristana still a pick that can be extremely strong in that mid lane right now in the meta, but no mid lane ban so far with the Vi take it off and Udyr the answer. So trying to set up Zika with a solid matchup there. Twisted Fate is still available for that top lane. I'm just saying, Decade, I don't know how confident you're feeling. I don't know how practiced you are on the Twisted Fate. He's been playing a bit of Gnar. But yeah, we'll see what matchup he goes for. I'd love to see the Twisted Fate again.
I feel like the most expected thing that Ultra Prime are going to hope for in top lane is going to be that Aatrox. It's Decade's second most played pick in 6 games. You have to send him down in that bot side too to kind of enable his sustain and healing even more and potential long drawn out skirmishes. So I wonder if LNG decide to take that one away, or if they fear any of the potential mid lane options that Yuekai could go for. Yuekai, I was going to say, has been someone who's actually leaned heavier on the Akali than other players. So LNG do recognize that. Potentially sets up for the Aatrox pick here for Ultra Prime.
Oh, Smolder's available. It could be a top lane Smolder. We did talk about solo lane Smolder being a thing, being an option. Stack it on up. I don't know whether they'll lock that one in. Kind of funny to see the Orianna ban as well, when Orianna right now, 9-29 in the LPL. Oh, Karma's made it through.
Yeah, actually.
It's no Karma bans.
It's one of the things that feels like it makes it through so infrequently, slipping our minds. So you're going to have a ton of pressure to play with in the mid lane. LNG maybe going to try and answer back with the passive from Tristana's E to be able to contend with some of that push. It does give them a lot of AD, and they're going up against a pretty tanky composition so far set up by Ultra Prime. And oh my god, we actually get WeiWei bringing out the Ivern, so this more supportive jungler to enhance the double marksman coming through for LNG.
All right. Can't wait to check Twitter after this one and watch all the Ivan mains absolutely take WeiWei's pathing apart. I feel like this is one of those champions that it gets real intense real quick when the conversations begin. Let's see what Ultra Prime will have as their final lock-in to try and answer this in the top side. It is just going to be the Aatrox locked in for Decade. Couple of, I say a couple of interesting picks. It's pretty much just the Ivan is the interesting pick in this one, alongside that Tristana mid.
It's going to be interesting, right? Because a lot's going to come down to, like, how well, obviously, Scout and Gala can position, and then the other three being able to peel for them. For Ultra Prime, they're going to hope to be able to find access to the backline with the Aatrox, Karma Shield speeding them up, throwing out the Maokai to guarantee the picks. So a lot, in my mind, is going to come down to if Ultra Prime can find those engages. But if LNG get off to a lead, right, you get Tristana Varus in front of turrets, they will just mow objectives down.
They certainly will. I'm excited for this one now. Ivan. I can't remember the last time I saw an Ivan.
I'm so happy we've changed patches. I don't know if it really impacts any of the fact of, like, a lot of these picks we're seeing aren't even picks that were changed or even really had items that affect them all too much. But so many differences coming out so far since the move of 14-4.
Yeah. So it's been a strange couple of days in terms of the draft, because like you say, none of these champions are even dramatically different in a big way. But here we go, Ivan. I wonder how long they've had this in the tank. I wonder how long they've been prepping this potential strategy for the right draft. Doesn't feel like there's anything particularly unique from the Ultra Prime draft, so I'd be surprised if they've been waiting on it. But WeiWei and Scout, we're looking at you. You've got the duo to work with. What can you do with it?
Yeah, gonna have to keep our eyes on. Again, I think a more consistent pace coming out from LNG in this game, and we're just gonna jump right in. Game 1, LNG versus Ultra Prime.
敌军还有30秒到达战场，碾碎他们。
Okay, bit of an arena diff between WE and LNG here. You know, LNG's arena, it's just silent when it comes to the Gyos. WE's arena, they've got a bloke on payroll screaming at the top of his lungs. It's a different look for the two teams right now, but then again, I'm a lot happier from a WE fan than an LNG fan. WeiWei forced to flash at level 1. That's going to suck for him.
Yeah, I mean, Doggo popping the ghost immediately to run him down, and it forces WeiWei to go for that play. It does mean Gala and Hung going to try and look for a bit of aggression themselves. Should at least equal into a ward, and there it is from Gala. So going to get a bit of information in exchange, but WeiWei going to be feeling a lot more tense after that level 1.
See what his strategy is going to be. Both players starting at their wolves. Not the usual start for Zinzao, but perhaps some special pathing that's going to come through based on the fact he's up against Ivan. We'll have to wait and see. As WeiWei setting these camps up with all the lovely sound effects and the candy canes. Oh, isn't it just lovely? Here we go. Yuekai jumped on by Scout. Good level 2 spike, getting a bit of damage down.
Right, and again, going with that Tristan to try to match the presence that Karma puts up, usually just able to find lane prio in pretty much any matchup. It gives so much freedom for your jungler to be able to enable your side lanes very easily. So I like the pivot into the Tristana. Again, it can be a bit annoying later on, especially if after a decade, Jwei just start stacking all that armor. But they are so long from, you know, having to worry about that problem. I think LNG are completely fine.
Yeah. One thing that's worth mentioning as well, Scout able to get that level 2 spike off the back of him and Hung clearing the ward of Raptors, so a little bit of a bonus for him as WeiWei sliding around the jungle. Be able to set up those 3 camps and move down towards that bottom side as well. Trading in the bot lane though, it's Jwei and Hung exchanging health bars here, but obviously Rakan having that sustain from a bit of range does mean that it's a win for LNG.
Yeah, we also know, obviously, LNG's bot lane started on the wave, but the fact that Doggo did move up, even not having the ghost, maybe not being a huge thing this early on in the lane, but still, right, you're going to be a bit more mindful of trying to take aggressive trades for Ultra Prime. Right now, just hoping. There it is, Doggo hitting level 2. We can really do anything about it. And I mean, I guess this is what we expected, right? We said to have the lower champion kills per minute teams in the league. And with these compositions, both definitely fine with the game going the distance.
Yeah, I've got to say, Larry, I've made a terrible mistake. Hang on, I'm gonna hold that thought. WeiWei has moved into the bottom lane to drop a brush, and now he's leaving again. What a play from WeiWei! Absolutely god-tier jungling.
I gotta be honest, I don't really know what to expect much from WeiWei. It's so long, so infrequent since we see Iverns come out, especially in the LPL. WeiWei definitely one of the players who's leaned on it in the past years, but even then, it's been more of a sporadic one-off pick than anything else.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out in the long run. But as you say, a couple of the slower teams here, and I just want to tell everyone at home that I recently purchased a coffee machine. I've decided to up my coffee game at home. And I tried it out this morning. First time I've used it, I made myself a latte. But the problem is, it's got like a milk steamer. And it turns out when you turn that on, it also stops doing the other action it was currently doing because they both come out of the water tank, right? So I'm pretty sure I've just given myself essentially a cup of warm milk with like a splash of coffee at the bottom of it. And into a game between two teams that are both incredibly slow. I've got a warm milk alongside. Like, there's no way I'm awake in 20 minutes time. It's just doomed for me.
Yeah, you're pretty much set on the path that you've chosen. You know, as an American, we don't really have great coffee culture here after traveling the world more. So I'm a big fan of like budget bad coffee. Canned coffee, I love it. I don't know why, but yeah, just something about the badness of it all makes it so good.
You're an odd guy, Larry. Has anyone ever told you that?
I like to be down with the common man, because that is all I am, you know?
I mean,
You know, that didn't sound
same.
anywhere. I was kind of hoping that would sound a bit more philosophical, but it didn't. It just sounded kind of pretentious.
It just makes it sound like you think that everyone else thinks that they're better than everyone or something. I don't know. I'm not really sure what to take away from that one.
Oh
yeah.
God! Hey, though, Grub's got taken both teams, getting a bit of the Grub action. You'll love to see it.
Oh yeah, 2 for 1. That's a bargain if you've ever seen one for Ultra Prime. What a moment. First, the Ivan gank bot where he drops a brush. Now, we're trading grubs. This is a hype game of League of Legends. Doggo moving up to the top side here. We've seen this a few times from centers. Able to get some souls in the top lane instead of going for the 2v2 down on the bottom side of the map.
It's actually a bit interesting that we have Hung meeting up. Gonna hope to find the kill.
Flash is on cooldown from Decade. He had to flash away from Zika's W earlier on. Decade should go down. Knockup goes wide. It won't matter, though. First blood taken by Zika.
Really nice sidesteps from Decade, but they weren't enough to matter in the end. And this is a bit of a difference than what we typically see, right? Usually, the center roams top, but the enemy opposing bot lane still plays the 2v2, just stacks a bunch of plates. So nice pivot from LNG, sending Hung top to match to find their own angle to get a kill.
WeiWei moves mid as well. Scout is scary when those shields come into play. We're looking towards, you know, once WeiWei has a couple of items, this Tristana is going to be problematic for the side of Ultra Prime. Same for Gala as well. On the Varus, he's going for the on-hit build, so the extra buffs will pay off. You've got, I honestly, like, we kind of, because of the slow pace of the game and the two teams that are playing and the fact that we got an Ivan, we've not really properly broken down the compositions, but it does feel like a really strong composition for LNG the longer the game goes on.
Yeah, and that's why it's kind of weird. I might need to hold back, though, is both teams right now posturing around Jwei. Oh, Hacker just goes in.
Hacker gets knocked up and actually flashes forward. Jwei there alongside him, and Scout almost getting destroyed, but he jumps and ults Doggo. Very nicely played as Yuekai onto Hung on the bottom side of the play. Trying to force him out, and will be able to do so. Ultra Prime, well played, muscling their way onto the Dre.
Yeah, Scout kind of just left by his lonesome, which opened up for Ultra Prime to be so aggressive. Going to be a nice first Drake coming out from them. Hung still just sticking around for now. But like you said, right, because we haven't really broken down these team comps all too well. At the same time, it feels like both are in this for the long haul. Both going to be incredibly good at team fights. We'll start off with this replay to see how this all happened. Because LNG were actually here first, but don't really commit too much to actually looking for the all-in. The Maokai ult from Jwei is great to lock down Scout. I can't believe he managed to get away. What great timing on the ult to make sure that Doggo can't finish him off with one auto. And Yuekai misses a Q at the end. I don't think it would have made a big difference in regards to the play. Overall, just really nice from Ultra Prime. I feel like the mid game is where their comp should be a little bit stronger than LNG's potentially, especially with the Karma, the Xinjiao, and the Aatrox. That top side's going to be able to put off a ton of bursts and really make Scout and Gala's life hard. For LNG, I feel like the longer it goes, the more DPS things like Baron is much. Do I get
WeiWei hit his root on the cannon though, so unfortunately the action immediately fizzles out.
I guess my question though is, do you expect LNG to be a team that like post 20 minutes with this Tristana Varus to be like, yo, we can rush Baron, let's send it? That's what I'm wondering if LNG will do.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Did you see the ward that Decade just placed top? He just placed a ward like right outside of his tower. That's got to be a misclick, right? Like, what does that ward achieve?
Yeah, I guess it have to be right.
As Gala and Hung, look at this. So many plates into the pocket of this Varus. And on the on-hit Varus as well, like, you really do get a lot of value out of that gold the longer the game goes on. It's so nice to get an early lead on a pick like this that scales so exceptionally well. Yuekai getting out daisied right now in the mid lane. But he'll be able to just clear things up Still another 3 minutes until that next Drake comes up. You can see LNG sort of hovering towards that bottom side. They know that Ultra Prime are going for the grubs in the meantime. Perhaps considering a dive in the bottom lane, but going against it in the end.
Yeah, and weren't going to go for that. We're thinking about it. I thought even maybe just go deeper into the enemy jungle, try and steal away some camps. The scout is locked down.
He might just go aggressive on that one. The way he was sort of... He realized that the root was going to hit, and so he just turned around and started hitting Yuekai. I wasn't sure if he was going to look for some crazy all-in for the W reset and try and get away again. But, I mean, Ultra Prime, you got to do something about this bottom lane. They're actually just going to lose a tower at this rate.
Yeah, and they're not... Right, I mean, they've taken away grubs. They've stolen camps on top side, but they're way too sheepish about looking for anything in top. I guess it makes sense. The Kasante's getting to a point where he's kind of tanky, still has it all out, but... Yeah, this VAR is going to be a problem.
This is the thing. You can't be sheepish when you're up against the GOAT. Like, Scout in the conversation for greatest mid laners of all time. I mean, I don't know. I was reaching with that one, but you said sheep. I thought of another 5-yard animal. I tried my best. It didn't work.
You know, I want to believe that this game could be the start of the comeback for Scout. Yeah. The resurgence. The turnaround. Right now, you know, doesn't have any kills. He's farming up pretty nicely. He's getting his items. Has a bit of sustain now. You know, surviving that Karma poke. Well, I guess he's had that the whole time since Vampiric Scepter was the first thing he bought. But that's what I'm taking away is your message, Munch. You're saying this is where the GOAT Scout returns to form.
The gout, if you will.
Oh, no.
Gout will return to the mid lane.
You are unhinged today, my friend.
Oh dear, I hope none of our mid laners have gout. That would be suboptimal. As Hung, all in the bottom side, double quickness as well. As Gala's ultimate hits onto Jwei, not the ideal target, but still good damage flying out from this Varus already. The route to answer as the Q goes in for Jwei. He's going to be forced out of this lane. This is probably the tower taken now. Well played by LNG in the 2v2.
Exactly. They're going to be completely fine with this even if they didn't find the kill because it should lead into the tower. I guess the question is if Hacker actually commits to defending this. But look at the minimap. WeiWei and Scout aren't too far behind. I like that Scout has been constantly leaning down towards bot. I feel like it's something we haven't been seeing as much lately. And mid laners kind of really just locked into their lane and chunking out the other mid laner. But Scout constantly threatening his presence.
Yeah, nice. Roam down from Hacker as well. Jwei TPing to the tower to keep that objective alive, crucially, for the side of Ultra Prime. You can't really afford to lose the tier 1 this early on in the game if you can help it. And it would have felt like they'd kind of just passively lost it as well if it did go down. Yuekai, in the meantime, has that Malignance now. So the mid lane matchup, not as one-sided as it has been early on in the laning phase. The priority not quite as easy for Scout to get.
And like I said, I mean, especially grouping up for some of these early fights, it's where I would expect Ultra Prime to be able to do a little bit better. I mean, the ult from Hacker is going to be able to deny a lot of the damage from Scout and Gala. You have Yuekai helping him run forward. And once Decade gets involved, I think that's where things really would go in favor of up. But it seems like LNG kind of realizing that that's the case, not even opting into any fights around this objective.
And you know, some people might look at this game of League of Legends and say, wow, nothing's happening. This is boring. But I would encourage you to look at the fact that Scout has more than 10 CS per minute this game. And if that's not incredibly exciting, well, I don't think League of Legends is for you, you know. Maybe watch golf or something. That's really not a more exciting sport. I don't know why I picked golf.
You had a lot to choose from.
A lot of exciting sports, and I chose golf. Well,
I do want to say, though, we do have LNG now kind of picking up most of their first items. Kraken Slayer for Scout, Blade of the Rune King for Gala, Redemption I saw in WeiWei's inventory. Not sure if Zika. Yep, so Zika did get the Iceborne Gauntlet as well. So even though, let's from a bit earlier on some of their key players like the Karma and the Xinjiao, LNG keeping up in kind. Right now, kind of angling for this Rift Herald. We do have TPs on both our top laners, so they could potentially join in.
This could be a bit of a scrap. Maybe our first proper scrap of the game. Jwei forced out by Daisy there. You can see the Mega Cupcake moving forwards, but you've got to be cautious this early in the game because Daisy's very killable, and there we go, dead already. And now they're all in from the rest of the squad. WeiWei barely gets to move the whole time, but it's answered as Gala gets one of his own and a TP behind enemy lines. LNG can look for more here. Doggo rooted up. This is going to be huge as Zika arrives behind the enemy. Scout finds one. Zika looking for Doggo as well as Scout jumps away from Decade. Both AD carries still alive. Decade under the tower, but he can't finish the kills. Scout with 2.
Absolute teleport gap coming in from LNG. Like, Zika getting there first was the difference maker. Now able to turn on the turret. And this is where you see the strength of this composition, right? The second it's in front of turrets, Rift Heralds, Dragons, Barons, doesn't matter. They could finish those off so quickly. So nice gold swing by LNG, but everything started off so promising for Ultra Prime. I love the decisiveness to just jump straight onto the Ivern here. Even the flash coming out from Jwei to lock him down. But the big difference in my mind is actually going to be the fact that look how much earlier the TP's coming out from Zika coming in. Because health bars are pretty even right now. If the Aatrox had been able to match, I feel like this would have been a fight that maybe Ultra Prime could have won. But Zika really just taking over. And sure, the rest of the LNG members have to flash from the Aatrox, but able to buy space.
Yeah, and like shout out to Gala for his ultimate in that fight. It traveled 3 times. Like it starts off on Jwei, it bounced 3 more times. He got 4 routes out of the ultimate, and none of them were at the same time as one another. I've never seen a Fire Assault get that much value in a singular fight before, or at least get that many, travels in a single fight. Phenomenal stuff.
Are we going again right away?
I
It looks
so.
like we are.
Making up for the first 15 minutes, LNG and Ultra Prime putting up the jukes. It's time for another scrap. Decade, though, this time just rinsed. And Hacker knocks back the Q3 into the Daisy knockup as well. Just bounced around, and a root hit so Zika can fly on him. Scout over the wall for more. The Q3 should be able to find the knockback onto Yuekai. Oh, he's not even needed. Zika just takes the kill. And LNG, they've woken up.
Yeah, great fighting there from Gala, from Zika. And once again, it didn't determine the play this time, but much faster TP coming out from Scout as compared to Yuekai. And one thing that tells me is LNG are a lot more prepared for the play and for the fight itself. Like, they're actively talking about what to do before it happens. So in both those fights, right, Decade and Yuekai's TPs were so reactionary and so much later than their counterparts.
Does feel like this is an LNG that are coming in with a clear game plan. They've got an interesting draft. They're using it well, just grouping up for these fights.
And look, I mean, yeah, Zika just isolating him. The other members of Ultra Prime not able to follow up again. TP comes in much faster from the Tristana. They're able to play this front-to-back style. The Maokai's getting zoned off, so you don't actually have any CC peeling for your carries on up. And just the formation from LNG is so much better. It's crazy how we had no kills early on, but now, out of nowhere, 6k gold, and LNG can really just start destroying the map. Like, with this lead, now I'm scared of when things like Barons come up, with how fast they're going to be able to do it. Dragon, though, well, we have to keep our eyes on for now, with it coming up in 25 seconds. Zika is top, but his TP is about to be back up right now.
This would be 3rd Drake for Ultra Prime. I don't know if they can fight this straight up, to be honest. Like, they are so far behind in gold at this stage, but
just compare top lane items.
I mean, yeah, he's literally an entire item behind at this point in his Decade. This would be a 3rd Infernal Drake, though. One away from Infernal Soul. It'd certainly help if Ultra Prime could grab that. Hung looking for the engage. Zika's over the wall as well. Ultra Prime might just have to commit to try to finish the Drake fast or something as WeiWei has heralded into the play. This is ridiculous. As Zika dives in amongst the team. The shields are there, but it's just not going to be enough. That right there is what we call a gold difference. Scout absolutely Gumba stomping his way through the fight. Jwei gets a little knockback, but that's going to be a triple kill for Scout and a massacre in the name of LNG.
They get Dragon, they still have Herald in bot lane where Gala and Zika are pushing. They're gonna get so much off the map from this. Hell, look at top. Ultra Prime losing minions to turret. Like, this is a bit of a disaster across the whole map. Even
nice use of the Herald as well. Zika, you could have just slammed that into the bot in hip tower. You wouldn't finish the tower off. But no, he's like, hang on, mid tower's pretty low. Let's get a cheeky little bonus off the back of the play.
Like, we went from a pretty even game to a 10k gold lead out of nowhere. I do gotta say, Munch, this fight was incredibly crazy, incredibly hard to follow. But one of the first things to point out is Ultra Prime. So much threat by Zika and the Ivern, so they immediately try running towards these two sides. But I think we start to see the item differences, because Zika takes so long to get brought down with all the resistances that he has. Great job locking up 3 people from Ultra Prime, and then once Scout starts getting the resets with the jump, I mean, what can Ultra Prime do? Hell, I think a lot of this was done even with Gala's ult not connecting off of the flashes from Ultra Prime. So even with key skills not finding complete value, oh, never mind that, is you aren't killing this guy. He almost has another completed item after what just went down.
Look at the gold. It's 10,000 gold lead in 20 minutes. Like, LNG, this was a really slow first few minutes of the game, but they just suddenly flicked a switch, and now they are annihilating Ultra Prime.
I'm excited for the gold graph because it's going to look like LNG loaded into practice school and like 10 minutes in decided they wanted to give themselves like 3k gold.
Like
then another 5 minutes later, 5.
To a mountain, yeah.
Yeah.
Good lord. Here we go, TP behind them, Decade. Oh no, it's Jwei actually trying to find a way to start a fight. The root's gonna come on through. Quickness on the front line just to try and buy space. Hunk sacrificing himself for the team, and it's paid off because Scout is railing them. Look at the damage coming out from this Tristana. And he just jumps into 3 players. Doggo forced away. The Scout's actually winning the 1v3, and now Doggo taken down as WeiWei runs to the back line, and Gala throws these arrows out. Another triple for Scout. This game is gonna end.
This might be the shortest game in LPL. Right now, it's 22 minutes, 10 seconds. I wonder, are they going to commit? No. So they don't go for it. Me and Mazel were excited because yesterday we had a similar circumstance where it almost happened. But
Cowards.
not going to beat that game between
They
BLG and EG.
They definitely could have done it.
I agree. I'm with you. But they want a complete victory. They want to go, say hello to the Baron, pick that one up, finish killing all the structures on the map because, I mean, right, as casters, it feels really bad to like call it when it's over this early, but this is an insurmountable at this point in my mind. We're gonna see the fight start off. Ultra Prime even do find a pick, but again, it just kind of feels like a bit of a stat stiff at this point, able to play on the back half of the fight once all of Ultra Prime's cooldowns and use Scout, an absolute demon, jumping into that one, immediately having to ult hack her away, but I don't think they would have had the damage anyway to finish him off, and it just allowed to an absolute massacre.
So I guess the question that now has to be brought up is who the hell are you giving MVP to? Because I really don't know. Honestly, I feel like maybe even Zika. Look at his scoreline, 3-0-13. He's been a part of so many of these plays. As a top laner, you don't often get that much kill participation, but he's been there, Scout's been there, WeiWei setting up a lot of these plays. I mean, the Herald engaged from WeiWei, I'm kind of here for it.
I mean, I could let you know because we had the stats from earlier in the WeiWei full screen of like WeiWei has a 60% kill participation. He's second among top laners. Like that's how crazy it is. Getting up to 60% KP puts you in the upper echelon. So the fact that Zika has been able to find so much involvement is quite impressive.
His TPs have been fantastic. LNG can literally just walk into the base in 2 lanes simultaneously. It's a 15,000 gold lead. It is eye-watering how far ahead LNG are at this point. I'm pretty sure they're a full item ahead in every single lane. And I mean, they can just slowly but surely push this one through. Decade forced to flash. The engage comes in as Jwei knocked aside and pushed away. Hacker buying space with the Crescent Guard. Ultra Prime's still alive for the time being, and the fact that that's the most positive thing I can say tells you everything about how this game has gone. LNG,
they can't kill him!
They took the turtle memes to heart. This is not a turtle, this is a rabbit in this race. 24 minutes on the clock and LNG are diving the fountain. This was beautiful to see that LNG have woken up in the LPL.
I want to believe it's exactly like you said. LNG, seeing the memes, seeing people talk about their pace of game online, having the team meeting, being like, yo boys, we gotta get things moving. we are not okay with these insults anymore. And right, that the first 10 minutes of the game, there weren't any kills, but the second we got our first team fight, I mean, it's kind of on Ultra Prime too for right after losing a team fight being like, you know, we want that smoke again. And LNG gave it to them.
It's the fact that Ultra Prime are there like, we just lost a straight 5v5 and we're 6k down. I think we can fight Dragon. Yeah, interesting decision making from Ultra Prime, but hey, LNG, what a punish. We're going to jump into a break, and well, LNG apparently they've got places to be.